What if your next home could last 500 years, survive wildfires and floods, and was built by the Tesla of home building? In this video, you'll hear from Morgan Bierschenk, founder of GeoShip, who's creating futuristic ceramic dome homes that are fireproof, off-grid ready, insanely sustainable, and part of a radical new decentralized model for community living. This isn't just some cool architecture. Morgan's vision could transform housing and possibly become the Tesla of communities, presenting a once-in-a-generation investment opportunity. If you care about climate, crypto, or catching the next big wave before it explodes, smash that like, and let's jump into the future of housing now.
Yeah, so my name is Morgan Bierschenk. I'm the founder and chief vision officer at GeoShip. The website is geoship.is. You can just Google GeoShip.
Okay, and are you guys on any socials?
Yeah, we're on all the social channels.
Okay.
It'll all come up.
Okay, pretty much. Is it, what are they?
Uh,
For the editor to just be able to type it out and put it on.
yeah, like Instagram, X, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Okay, and just type in GEOSHIP.
Yep.
Okay.
EOSHIP.
Okay, perfect. So Morgan, you're one of the founders of GeoShip.
Yep.
For viewers here, this is a little unorthodox for this channel, yet I feel it's important when we're talking about investing and the future, where trends are headed. Wayne Gretzky, always said, it's not where the puck's at, it's where it's going.
Yeah.
And when I came across your guys' company, I felt like I was like, hey, this is where a puck is moving.
Yep.
And so as a founder, first off, could you just explain in simple terms for our viewers, what is GeoShip and why does it matter for them?
GeoShip is like the Tesla of home building meets the network state, right? So we're really re-engineering home from physics first principles, new materials, new geometry, new method of manufacturing. It's a home as a fully integrated product. And at the same time, we're building a village building platform where we see, in the future, communities will participate in the design of their neighborhoods, their villages. So you come together in a digital space, align on your values, know who you're living next to, simulate your community, and then materialize it in the physical world. So really creating all the tools to do that.
So you're saying in advance, you won't just be buying a home in a neighborhood and I happen to see the neighbor next door and whatever, but from inception, it would be a group of people coming together and being like, hey, we want to live together and
So absolutely. It's the way we build neighborhoods today is still based on a pre-internet business model. It's developers and banks buy land to build houses on spec and sell them to people. Yeah. And the people who live there don't participate. And that's definitely going to change, or it is changing. People want to participate and people want to live in villages that are more integrated with the earth, with the natural world, and actually have humans who are, on a shared mission together.
Yeah. So with that, you talk about what are some practical ways that someone living in a GeoShip community is going to benefit. The neighborhood I live in right now, why would I want to join a GeoShip community?
I don't even want to say there's GeoShip communities. Our goal is to have an open source platform for people who have a vision to build a neighborhood. It might be more of a conventional neighborhood where there's not a lot of a communitas going on, or it might be, more intentional where we're coming together because we're building something together, or we want to create a new model for regenerative living. That's what we're in service to visionaries who want to build a new paradigm in living.
As you guys can see, these are not small, 900 square foot homes, 1 bedroom studios. These are livable, 2-bedroom, 2-story homes.
Yeah.
How does someone buying a GeoShip home? This is an investing channel. So how does it benefit their return on investment as well?
How does buying a home affect your return on investment?
How does buying a GeoShip home versus a traditional one?
Yeah, man, there's so many layers to that answer, Our goal is regenerative architecture. So what is regenerative?
Yeah.
Regenerative means net positive impact in every category. So biologically, our health improves, our relationships, community, social regeneration, and ecological regeneration, like having a positive ripple effect out into the ecosystems and whatnot that the home or village is part of. It's about an 80% reduction in the embodied carbon and operational carbon, so really sustainable.
80% less.
Yeah, and 100% fireproof, earthquake, hurricane resilient. There's nothing for mold to grow in. There's nothing to rot. You can repair and resurface it with the same material it's made from, and it's 100% non-toxic. And it's the minerals of bone. I mean, these This material is like, this is the same chemical composition as human bone. It's potassium, magnesium, calcium, phosphate, and the entire structure is bone material, and it's in the flower of life. So we'll, like, Tesla had all of our engineers are coming from Tesla, SpaceX, Apple, and Tesla had the 0 to 60 in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
What the GeoShip is like, you'll tell how well an architect did in the future by putting a plant in the room and seeing how well it grows, by measuring the rate of seed germination, by taking a picture with the biophotonic camera and seeing the energy field, the aura, and how it changes in the space, by measuring heart rate variability and brainwave coherence. It was like actually spaces, because it's the material of bone has a high dielectric constant, so it basically holds charge, and geometry that focuses it into the center. It's actually like redefining success in architecture, where it's not just about shelter, it's about spaces that actually facilitate your health, like healing.
Wow. Okay, that is deep. That is deep. So now what I want you to address is, somebody's watching this and they're like, oh, that just sounds hippie and frou-frou and whatever. I just need me a home. What would you say? What are the selling points to someone who's just brass tacks on a home?
Yeah.
Because I know, like, I'm hearing you say things.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's something in there. So
Yeah.
talk to them for a minute.
I mean, brass tacks level, we don't believe it's a housing solution unless you hit 5 different categories. 1 is it's got to be affordable. 2, it's got to be sustainable. 3, it's got to be healthy. 4, it's got to be climate resilient. And 5, it's got to be scalable. And if you actually if you look at all the different home building startups out there today, they can only check like 1 or 2 of those boxes. We have to check all 5 in order to have a solution that is really like building a more beautiful world. So, for the nuts and bolts is like, it's lower cost, it's lower, more sustainable, like lower ecological impact, and it's fireproof, it's hurricane and earthquake resilient.
Let's talk about that for a second. First off, cost. What's the average cost for someone to, if somebody, over here they have a gong when people are investing, for someone to buy a 2-bedroom, couple thousand square foot home, what's the average price for someone in the United States?
Where we're starting in Northern California, we're starting with like the Founder Edition domes, and they're about $300 a square foot, which is pretty much on par, like a little bit less than what it costs to build a regular, rectilinear house. Okay. At scale would be at about $100 a square foot. From first principles, because the entire home is like, our factory has silos of raw minerals that are replacing the metal, the wood, the concrete, the petrochemicals, all the components that are normally existing. So it's whole new supply chains and and you're optimized from the most efficient form, the most efficient material, and the most efficient manufacturing process, which is injection molding, like formative manufacturing. You look at like, how did we make 20 billion Legos a year, or it's 2.2 trillion concrete blocks. So on Earth every year, 2.2 trillion concrete blocks are manufactured based on a technology that was basically developed in like the late 1800s. And that is like a 50-foot high concrete wall that wraps around the Earth like 200 times. So the ceramic geodesic components are basically the same weight and volume as a concrete block. It's very scalable technology in terms of like formative manufacturing of next level ceramic and cement materials.
And then as far as for weather, you said hurricanes, earthquakes, like what is a home rated for? I'm thinking Florida. It seems like every couple years Florida has homes wiped out, and everything's having to get rebuilt and things of that nature. If somebody has a GeoShip home, what are they rated to withhold, and kind of talk us through that?
Yeah. So right now we've engineered for California, like the highest, that includes the highest snow loads in the country. The geodesic is naturally like aerodynamic, right? You can look at there's a lot of video of like hurricanes that have come through, and the only thing left standing are dome structures.
Okay.
And the key thing is really, a lot of times these homes are need to be replaced because mold starts to grow. It gets flooded and then mold starts to grow. And there's no mold cannot grow. It's all inorganic, not like drywall or.
So unpack that for someone who's like, if I have a couch in there the couch gets wet, the couch can mold. But you're not talking about furnishings. You're talking about the walls, the studs. Because is there no wood?
No wood.
No wood. There's no sheetrock.
No sheetrock.
So
it's all bioceramic composites.
Okay. Tell me if you're thinking this as well. But do the homes get cold?
No, there's
not like sheetrock ever keeps me warm at night. But in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if there's no wood, I don't know, I'm gonna be cold for some reason.
You have a bioceramic composite space frame. You know, it's like the frame is ceramic. You have an exterior panel and an interior panel and an insulation cavity that is also a cellular ceramic. So basically 80% reduction in heating and cooling costs compared to a conventional house.
Really? Wow. So it's extremely
Extremely energy efficient. Yeah.
Wow. And what's as far as talk us through, you guys, this is just a little bit you're seeing, of the designs, for the inside the home here. Talk us through what does the home that someone could buy right now look like? Square footage, number of rooms, things of that nature. What are options for building?
So we're starting with the Founder Edition AMA. It's a 1,660 square foot, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, plus an office geodesic home. So you see it's basically two stories. It's about a 40% glass to floor area ratio. So it's a lot more energy efficient, like I mentioned, but it's also a lot more glass. And you can see in all directions, like we call them great circle skylights. The skylights come out so you can look all the way around and see around you. So these things and very high ceilings, it's like 22-foot high ceilings with the part of it, the second floor is about 600 square feet and the bottom floor is 1,000 square feet. So a lot of the dome is like high ceiling.
Yeah.
So these are the things that people are really looking for in a house. You have open floor plans, lots of natural light, high ceilings, all natural materials, like non-toxic materials. And, it's really like nowhere in the list do people say, I want to live in a box, But today we have 100%. Every single neighborhood in the United States of America is rectilinear structures. So this is, and actually most people prefer curves. Like, if you just study, like, do you like a square more or a circle more? Like 70% of the country will say circle. And this is just like introducing. And Buckminster Fuller, he said the domes that we see today on Earth, like the ones that were built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, up till today, are wooden spaceships, right? It's like the right geometry, but they're hung materials. Okay. He said it'd be 50 to 100 years until the new materials would arrive to really manufacture the geodesic dome. This is a next generation material. It's a kind of in between a ceramic, a cement, and an epoxy. So it basically enables you to build a geodesic in the way they're really meant to be built.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so now let's say someone wants to either, first up, can someone invest? This, shows about investing. Can someone invest in the company, directly? And as far as then, let's talk about rollout of over the next 3-5 years of neighborhoods and, outside of just Northern California for the founders.
Yeah, so people can definitely invest. This is one of our key things. We never even went out to talk to VCs. Okay. We started a social purpose corporation that will evolve into being like progressively decentralized, what we call the multi-stakeholder cooperative. So customers will have shares in the company by being customers, and nature will have shares because we're using its resources. So we believe in the future, like if we're not a decentralized company, we'll be rendered obsolete by one that is. So it's all about and the opportunity here is to build one of the biggest companies on Earth. This is the biggest market on Earth and the biggest asset class on Earth.
Yeah.
So all of our capital has come from humans, angel investors, and also retail investors. You can invest as little as $200 in orange shares in the seed stage of like a company that I believe will become the Tesla of home building.
So what does the future look like for GeoShip? Like where right now, am I correct as we're watching this and recording this, that you guys are in the early stages of building kind of your first proof of concept? Would that be accurate?
No, we've already proved the concept. We've built, models that you can come inside and experience.
Okay.
Now we just took a big leap in going from 18-foot diameter structure that's kind of like an ADU to like a full-size home with all the systems integrated, and it's, the home is an integrated product.
Okay.
So that'll work. And the first one will be installed in Nevada City later on this summer.
Okay, so actually really by the time, because this may not come out for a month and a half or so. And so from that standpoint, like the buildings will be actually kind of in the wild. Like people will start living in them this year.
Toward the end of this year. We're manufacturing all the parts right now.
Okay.
We're doing the site work on the first dome install, and it'll be like ready for tours and stuff in like probably October timeframe.
Okay, excellent. And then 3 years from now or 5, what's the timeline to where you reach commercial viability, I guess, or just you're able to move from that initial, here's the first community, the founders community, to I live in Nashville, Tennessee. So, if I wanted to develop a neighborhood, you know, in Middle Tennessee somewhere, or someone just wants to buy a home, what's that timeline look like?
Tennessee is actually really high up on our list. I can't tell you why yet. It's a really exciting customer that and funding that's coming through for a factory in Tennessee
I
area.
have no idea.
Yeah. You know, if you look at like how long did it take Tesla to get to 1 million cars a year, you know, it's about 12 years. And GeoShip is at least that. They're only still just manufacturing a product that then goes and ships. We have to manufacture something and then we have to install it and we have to go through regulatory. So it's a pretty complex operational. You know, it's probably in around 10 years, we're looking at like 50,000 homes a year after 10 years. At that point, we're like the biggest home building company in the US. So, and you know, in the more near term, like, we're not only installing the first unit, we've set up a pilot facility that can scale to maybe 50 or 100 homes a year. And we're already building the second facility that can scale to about 2,000 homes a year. And the goal is to have kind of regional micro factories.
Okay. So guys, as always, DYOR on this. Now, if somebody does want to invest in GeoShip, what's that first step for them to invest?
Yeah, I mean, basically go to our website, geoship.is. You'll have different paths depending on whether you're a accredited investor or a retail investor, and whether you want to invest as a rev share note or an equity investment. So just different alternatives.
Okay. All right, guys. You heard it here first. Go check them out. I love the concept of this. I was introduced to those, you know, 1970s and 80s Geodome homes. And this, it looks like it, but it really is nothing like it. It's, you know, like you said, it's the materials, they don't mold, these can last 500 years.
That's the design life is for 500 years. You can repair and resurface it with the same material it's made from.
Wow.
Right? So you can spray this ceramic like a paint and resurface it.
Wow.
So that's potentially really long.
That's longer than I'm going to be alive.
And you know, a lot of our most enthusiastic early like investors and customers were basically Web3 founders who then had an exit. And why did they start a company in the Web3 space? You know, they're like redesign society.
Yeah.
We want to redesign society. So like Bitcoin is like you open the door and then what's that next world? What's the physical infrastructure of the neighborhoods and villages that will have new forms of currency, new forms of democracy, and just like really represent our values in it.
Values and ethos. Yeah, wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Guys, smash that like, check out their website, geoship.is, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace.